Do you want to know something crazy?
Do tell.
In a couple days, it will officially be a full year of us doing GlowJob together.
1 year. Oh my gosh, time has flown by so quickly.
It is absolutely wild. I feel like we just got started, and at the same time, we've been doing this for a decade.
We're celebrating with a party. Like, we started this off with a big bang and a party, and then here we are again 1 year later with another one.
I know. I think it's just going to have to become an annual tradition, a GlowJob party.
I love getting to meet people who are actually like listeners of the podcast. And I'm so excited that this year that we're having some actual LA-based listeners come and attend. We're super excited because we're going to be partnering with a bunch of beauty brands for the party. We're going to have this amazing Discovery beauty touch-up station. We're going to have a nail art station with one of the best nail artists in LA. And we're going to have a ton of raffles and giveaways throughout the entire night. So some of the brands include One Size,
Poom,
Olive and June,
Biotech Beauty,
Clay Cosmetics, Kelly Zhang's, Mixsoon,
Six Science, Orsay Cosmetics,
Unleasha,
and Lemieux. Honestly, I am so excited, and we cannot wait to debrief the entire party next week.
Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We're the only podcast to make you hotter and smarter.
To kick off our news roundup, we have some pretty major drama going on with Huda Kattan right now, Iran, and just kind of what the limits are as it relates to founder activism.
Huda Kattan recently faced significant backlash after she reposted content that many perceived as supportive of the Iranian regime. And this has been going on amid a lot of political unrest in the country. So Huda later clarified that she did not support the regime and didn't feel informed enough to comment. Meanwhile, her sister, Mona Kattan, CEO of fragrance brand Kayali, she publicly supported the Iranian people. And a lot of this comes in the midst of the fact that the CEO of Sephora is actually Iranian. And so people are starting to wonder if this is going to be the final straw that breaks the camel's back in terms of Sephora having some significant action against Huda Beauty.
And this is really important because it's not the first time that Huda has gotten into trouble for having really outlandish and inappropriate and often misinformed political views. She went on this psychotic rant on TikTok just last year where she was saying that the Israeli people were responsible for 9/11, for World War II, all of these things. And it's been really, really divisive because after that video came out, so many people were writing to Sephora saying, get them out of Sephora right now. We do not want Huda Beauty here. But on the flip side, it also got her a lot of support from people on the pro-Palestine side when it comes to the Israel-Palestine dispute.
So when that happened last year, there was some talk about the brand getting kicked out of Sephora. But ultimately, Artemis Patrick, the CEO, didn't make that call. This time around, it feels more charged, obviously, because Artemis is Iranian. And I remembered seeing online that she no longer follows Huda. So I'm wondering how this is going to play out now. And Huda has come back and said that, she felt like she was misinformed and didn't have enough information. And she posted something too quickly without fully understanding the whole background of the situation. I don't know if that's enough of an excuse in this scenario. You know what I mean?
No, it definitely isn't. And I feel like Artemis is probably in an incredibly difficult situation because she is the leader of a very public, very, very high profile company, but she probably also has these like deep personal ties to the Iranian people. So I can't imagine what she must feel like or like the pressure that she must feel, but it just raises a lot of questions about founder-led brands in general because so many of them, we kind of feel like they live and die by their perceived values. There are so many founders out there who are getting increasingly political. I think Charlotte Palermino of Do is another really good example of that. A lot of times I feel like when I'm on Do's Instagram page, I'm basically getting like, social justice updates and like all of these kind of political updates as I'm trying to learn more about their skincare products. Glossier is a really good example of doing this in like the early 2010s, but they never necessarily went and said who they stood for when it came to politics. They would always just be really encouraging of people to like get out there and vote or go register and vote. So something a bit more neutral. But nowadays, I feel like people in the comment section and fans and customers, specifically the customers, are saying, saying, where do you stand on this? Or because you're complicit on this, you must feel a certain type of way. And they just make assumptions about the brand. So it's kind of like if the founder doesn't say something, that also says something.
I think it puts a lot of brands in a tough spot sometimes, though, because running a business can mean working with a lot of different partners, sometimes international partners, and sometimes, some brands want to just focus on producing product and selling product and doing their bread and butter business. And being political can sometimes jeopardize those relationships. And I feel like it's really hard to have to choose between the two when at the end of the day, you need to make revenue to pay your employees and stay afloat.
Absolutely. And I feel like Huda has definitely benefited from her political stances as well, right? Like she runs her business out of Dubai. She lives in the UAE. And therefore, her stance on Gaza and Palestine, it really did bolster a lot of support within that community for good reason. But now, it's kind of like, where do you draw that line? Do you have to comment on everything? And if you comment on stuff, you should be correctly informed and not spreading, what's essentially fake news.
That is the concerning part for sure. Also, it makes sense to me for a lot of founders to speak to issues that are very personal to them, things that are happening domestically or something that has like a personal connection, whether that be family, sentimental, etc. When people are speaking about issues, like you said, Jules, with zero context and they have no understanding what's happening, that's when it can get pretty dangerous.
Yeah, whenever I think about this, I always think about this one documentary with Taylor Swift because she would talk in the documentary about like how she got so much pressure from her fans, from the media to tell people like where she stood politically. And what she ended up saying was, I am a girl who like didn't even go to high school. I didn't go to college. I'm not well informed on these topics of, heads of state and global politics. What can you really expect of me? So, I always kind of take that into consideration when you have these expectations of founders and, influencers and celebrities and all these types of people who don't necessarily have degrees in geopolitics.
Next up in news, let's talk about the celebrity political economy. And we're talking about none other than Miss Nicki Minaj and her recent very friendly relationship with President Donald Trump.
So Nicki Minaj recently went on stage at a pro-Trump rally that was in support of the new Trump accounts. And she is allegedly going to be donating $150,000 to $300,000 to this new program. And what it does is that it essentially invests $1,000 into all American children born between the years of 2025 and 2028. And it really just teaches kids the importance of understanding finances, financial literacy, long-term compounding, because this money is put into the accounts and they can watch it grow. And even before they can take money out, when they're, I believe it's even older than 18, but it's supposed to be at the age of 18, they can actually learn to how to start trading within these accounts. And then eventually, when they're even older than that, they can take money out. So that's what the account is. And that's what this program is. But, this kind of appearance of her on stage, she was literally holding hands with Donald Trump. A lot of people were really, really up in arms. But even more shocking was afterwards when she went to Instagram and posted a photo of the highly coveted golden Trump card, which basically sealed the deal that she was no longer an immigrant and official citizen of the United States. It did come across as like quite tone deaf, right? Like talking about getting a golden Trump card where we have all of these current issues related to ICE. It really just didn't seem like the right time or the right place. But Nicki Minaj being part of MAGA, I don't know. I remember that like, weren't there rumors that back in like 2020, 2021, when they were bringing back the Met Gala, Nicki Minaj was allegedly not able to attend because she was unvaccinated. And so there were like whispers that like, is she Maha? Like, why isn't she vaccinated against COVID? And like, that was the reason. Because prior to that, I mean, she dominated the Met Gala red carpet every single year.
Yeah, there were signs. There were early signs. But now she's gone full, full red pill. And I remember seeing some comments online. People were really roasting her. They were going after her appearance, which I don't like because I feel like that's a low blow. But there were some funny comments about how her wig game was just really messed up lately on the Trump stage. So
I'm pretty sure we know why her wig looked awful. I'm pretty sure maybe her beauty team just isn't on board with like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go glam Nicki for, the Trump stage. Like, I don't think they want that on their, in their portfolio and their makeup lookbook. So they're like, I'm just gonna pass on this one.
Yeah, yeah. So her entire glam squad was like, bye.
So here's a question. How much influence do you think that celebrity endorsements actually have on public opinion?
I think it's actually a really nuanced question because it comes down to which celebrity has what opinion. And for example, Nicki, I listened to her music all the time back in the day, but she is not nearly as relevant as a female rapper as, say, a Cardi B or a Megan Thee Stallion, or we can rattle on all the names that have come up in the past, let's call it 5-10 years. So I feel like if Nicki Minaj had a political statement to make 10 years ago, that would have a lot of relevance. Today, she doesn't carry that same weight. Someone like Taylor Swift carries a lot more weight because that woman controls like half of all the teens and tweens and women of this country. So I think it has a lot to do with the level of influence said celebrity has, and also just the general cultural impact of that celebrity. Like you're weighing someone who is popular now or someone who was popular 10 years ago.
Oh, 100%. That's totally fair. I mean, when Taylor Swift went out and made an Instagram post, just a post about getting more people to go out and register to vote, there were 2 million people that registered to vote after she posted that, which is absolutely insane. But for the longest time, the Republican Party, they really only had like Kid Rock and Chuck Norris on their side. And so, yeah, it's wild. But like, it's interesting that you bring up like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and all of the other like more relevant female rappers today. All of them have been so publicly supportive of, whether it was Kamala Harris when she was running or any of like the Democratic Party. Next up, sustainable hair care brand Ethique is expanding into Target and is really just shifting their focus over to performance.
So Ethique is a solid hair care company that creates sustainable shampoos, conditioners, and other hair care products. They are literally these solid bars that you lather up with water. And so they're liquidless hair products, which is very, very different from anything else on the market. They are now expanding into 952 Target stores with 14 SKUs after they just did a major rebrand. The brand first relaunched its refreshed identity at Ulta Beauty, where it now is currently in over 1,300 doors. Ethique is shifting its messaging away from just sustainability as the primary hook towards performance and actual value of their product.
So for me, it's still a little bit difficult to kind of consider them performance when I think of the brand. I really only think about sustainability. So I like how they're going for this rebrand here, but sustainability for the longest time, it's been a really powerful differentiator in beauty. And there's so many people that talk about like going green or being sustainable, but we all know that it's greenwashing. And what I do like about Ethique is that they're actually like doing it. Like you were describing these like solid shampoo bars, solid conditioner bars, like that's essentially no plastic, right? And when you think about all the other ways that brands are saying that they're sustainable or trying to be, they're not really doing it in the same way. Like if you want to get rid of plastic, like these guys are literally getting rid of the bottle.
There was definitely a big trend in the last 10 years where sustainability was a selling point, right? People would be willing to pay more money for quote unquote sustainable products or more green products. It feels like the consumer now is getting smarter about this and is able to differentiate between something that's just greenwashing versus something that's like actually good for the environment or actually sustainable. And it makes sense that Ethique is trying to like not use that as their only selling point, because I don't think that is the product that, flies off of shelves these days.
No, I agree. I don't think people care as much as they used to. I think that in like today's economy, consumers are just way more price conscious. And there really has been like a pretty effective campaign against greenwashing, in my opinion. Because it used to be that people would just like, instead of using a glass bottle, they would just use a frosted glass bottle. And it would
Yes.
just trick people to think like, oh, this is recycled, this is secondhand. But like, no, that is a brand new bottle just with like a little bit of frosting on it. Like you're just falling for greenwashing here.
In this day and age where costs are just so much higher, like things from your mortgage to gas to groceries, everything is really pinching the wallet. The fact that Ethique is focusing on performance is a good angle for them because those solid bars actually last a really long time in terms of just like usage. You wouldn't think that a solid shampoo would work as well as a traditional shampoo. I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen a hair care company do a waterless formula. Shaz and Kicks, which is another brand you and I really enjoy, they also do these waterless products that are basically kind of like a putty. They're really, really thick. And it's the same thing where, like, I remember the first time I tried it, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. This just looks crazy. But then you just lather it up in some water and you realize it's just as effective, if not more effective than traditional shampoo.
Oh no, I absolutely love those products. And I do feel like, it does come in a plastic tub, but it lasts a lot longer because you really don't need as much product because again, it's so concentrated. You're literally instructed to dilute it with water and then lather it so you can start using it in your hair.
Yeah, so I think waterless formulas might be the trend. I mean, like it's definitely more bang for your buck. It's definitely more potent, more concentrated. Like it's kind of what you actually want in a hair care product.
Next, we have Beauty Inc. and WWD. They just released all of Sephora's top selling products of 2025. There were a lot of surprises here, so let's break it down.
All right, we're going to jump into the top 10 selling products on Sephora.com. So this is their online sales only. Number 1, Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. Not shocked by that at all.
I mean, we heard it from Mariana Hewitt and Lauren Ireland themselves, but they sell one of these lip products every 8 seconds.
It's such a wild stat, an amazing stat to have. But we know that Gen Alpha is obsessed with these. Remember when we had Celia on for our Gen Alpha episode and she was telling us how many she goes through every month?
I think my favorite thing is that she told us that she would go through more than one lip gloss a month. And that to me, how are you using that much product?
That is why Summer Fridays is staying afloat because of girls like that.
Number 2, another one that's no surprise, but it is the Touchland hand sanitizers.
This is actually a little surprising to me for online sales because in store, this 100% makes sense. When you're checking out, they stack those little Touchlands all around the checkout line, and you can't help it but just grab one. I mean, I have been victim of this. However, when you're online shopping, this is not like the first thing that comes to mind when I am adding things to cart. So I'm a little surprised by this.
I feel like the people who are adding these to cart are the people that are trying to hit that minimum order requirement to get free shipping, right? So it's kind of similar. It's as you're checking out, what are you going to add to the basket? You're going to add a Touchland hand sanitizer.
Okay, am I crazy? But every time I'm on Sephora, I always get free shipping.
I think it depends on your status. I think
Oh.
depending on the status, you always get free shipping. But if you're not a VIB Rouge Plus or VIB whatever, you have to hit a certain minimum order.
That makes sense. So number 3 on the top 10 best-selling on Sephora.com is the Tower 28 SOS Rescue Spray.
This one honestly surprised me. The other 2 did not.
Really?
I don't know. I have used this spray before. I don't get the hype. I don't know. I feel like this product has really great marketing, but I don't find it to be the miracle SOS whatever spray that it claims to be.
It is a very generic product with a good packaging wrapper. It's essentially a hypochlorous acid spray, and this is a really basic ingredient that's used by most derms. It is wonderful for wound care. It helps kill a lot of different bacteria on the skin surface. So it's great for folks with eczema or sensitive skin or acneic skin, but it's very overpriced for a hypochloric acid because usually you can buy this stuff for $10 on Amazon, and I think they sell it for almost $30.
Exactly. And everyone is making hypochlorous acid now, right? Good Molecules is making one, Medicube is making one, and all of these are a lot cheaper than the Tower 28s. For number 4, it's the Youth to the People Superfood Antioxidant Cleanser.
I'm surprised by this one. I didn't realize this was such a popular cleanser.
I love it. Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it before. Now I think I should try it.
I think you should try it because I think you will like it. So it's a gel cleanser. It has this nice kind of botanical fragrance to it, but it cleans really well and it doesn't strip. It is a little bit expensive in my opinion for what a cleanser should cost. So maybe I am surprised that it's this high on the list, but it is an excellent cleanser.
Number 5, it is the Day Cactus Fruit 3-in-1 Styling Cream and Taming Wand.
So I feel like I know why this one has been so popular specifically in 2025, but I think it's because this has been the year of the slick back bun, and this is the perfect product to get that slick back look, right?
Totally.
Next, in the number 6 spot, this one is from Sephora collection, but it is their Nourishing Foot Mask in coconut and lavender.
This is a peculiar one to me. The only thing I can think of is that this makes like a good gift. That's like it's a small item and you can just throw it into your cart. Like you said before with the hand sanitizer, it's like to get to the free shipping. It's a good gift. It's a nice little add-on. Otherwise, I don't understand why it's here.
I don't know, have you ever done a foot mask?
Yeah, I have actually. And I love foot masks. I just don't think I've ever used the Sephora one.
Okay, I mean, I personally I don't do feet masks. I've never tried one before because to my knowledge, you're basically putting your foot into a bag of jelly and you just sit there and expect it to moisturize your feet.
Yeah, but what you do afterwards is then like for me, because I've always had like really dry feet and like growing up as a dancer, my heels would get cracked and just like it was one of those things I would do at least once a month just to make sure my feet were in good condition. But with the serum, you let it's just like you're deep soaking your foot in serum. Then you put on like a heavy cream. And then sometimes I would put on like a Vaseline or something just to seal it all in. You do this at like the very, very end of the day. And so you like wrap your foot in all the occlusives and all the humectants to seal in that goodness. But I don't think I've ever thought to buy a foot mask from Sephora collection.
Wait, then where do you buy your feet masks?
So I not only use feet masks, but I also use hand masks. And I usually buy them from Innisfree or Tony Moly. And they're like not that expensive and they work really well.
Okay, because I always grew up I would just load up my feet in lotion and then put socks on, and it's a very disgusting feeling. But I'm assuming a foot mask also is not the most pleasant.
It's kind of a funny, weird, squishy feeling. And I have to do it when I'm watching TV because otherwise there's no good time to ever do a foot mask.
That makes sense.
Number 7 on the list, it's the Kayali Vanilla 28 Eau de Parfum.
I mean, this one is no shocker, right? We all know the chokehold that Kayali has on everybody. They're good fragrances, really affordable, and also specifically because 2025 was a year of gourmand fragrances. This being a vanilla fragrance just makes so much sense.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Kayali isn't up higher on this list given how popular they are.
Maybe this is the reverse of some of the other products here. Maybe this is the type of product that people want to go in store to try, right?
Yes.
Blind buying fragrances is on the rise, but still, there's Sephora's everywhere. We can go and sniff it out. For number 8, we have the K18 Mini Leave-In Molecular Repair Hair Mask.
So it's interesting that it's the mini version that is on the top 10 list, which also makes sense because K18 products are not cheap. They're actually quite expensive. So people are probably hesitant to buy the full size version. And that's why this is so high up, maybe?
I think that makes sense. Try before you buy kind of vibe. Also, I feel a lot of times when you're traveling, my hair gets wrecked whenever I travel because of the plane air, because of the lots of sun, all of these different things. So maybe a mini sized mask is the way to go.
And number 9 on the list is the Topicals High Roller Ingrown Hair Tonic.
Okay, so this one did surprise me because I have never actually heard of this product before. Have you?
I haven't either. If you have ingrown hairs, that's no good and no fun. So if this works, I could see why people gravitate towards it.
Yeah, and topicals is so big right now, right? They do so much when it comes to fighting hyperpigmentation. So I feel they're the perfect brand to introduce an ingrown hair treatment. And lastly, we have Paula's Choice. This is the Skin Perfecting 2% BHA Liquid Exfoliant.
I like this product. I get why it's on the top 10 list.
Same. Honestly, it's a classic for a good reason.
And now let's talk about what's new at Sephora. Cyclar is now set to launch at Sephora with a custom fragrance available exclusively to Sephora VIB members. So the top loyalty tier members of Sephora are now going to have access to this exclusive fragrance and partnership with Cyclar. I think that this is a really smart move on both the brand that's incoming and also on Sephora's part because it's giving a new incentive for consumers to stay loyal to a store. Not only can you get discounts, not only can you accrue points, but you also get access to things that you can't get anywhere else. This is something that I feel differentiates a Sephora from, say, any other beauty store, drugstore, wherever you want to go to buy your products.
And I think they kind of have to do this because, like, in my opinion, Cycler is extremely, extremely affordable, especially when you compare it like apples to apples for like what the other body care products at Sephora look like. Like, I feel like the more popular ones lately is probably like Honey. That was kind of like the hot newcomer of last year. But Cycler's like cheaper than that. You can get it anywhere. They're huge on like TikTok Shop, and TikTok Shop always has these like crazy, crazy discounts. So I feel like Sephora has to be like cognizant of that like price consciousness that people tend to have by doing an exclusive. And I think it's great. I feel like Ulta is going to be the next to try and find a brand and do like an Ulta exclusive, just for those customers.
Do you feel like having these different levels of loyalty tiers, especially with Sephora membership, do you feel like that is more of a reward or like a barrier for most folks?
I feel like it's jail.
Jail? Really?
I feel like
Why?
it's jail because I feel like these reward programs, they kind of make people beholden only to that retailer, right? Like, we've asked a lot of people, like, who do you like more, Ulta or Sephora, Ulta or Sephora? And typically, the number one reason why people are choosing to stay is because of the rewards programs and all the points that they get and all the things that they can redeem for them. So I think it's a smart move on, Sephora's part here, but it makes it really challenging for consumers to want to be like a little bit more brand curious and kind of see, oh, like what else is out there? Where else can I go shop?
To me, it's definitely a reward system. And I enjoy having that reward system because it incentivizes me to want to try new products. Like, honestly, if I didn't have a rewards program, I don't think I would try as many products in the past. Obviously, now with GlowJob, like we try products all the time. But in the past, I don't think I would have been open to exploring as much without that reward system in place. The difficulty for me is, I actually really like Ulta, but I don't have access to Ultas in most of the places I live, which happen to be metropolitan cities. It just happens to be that Sephora is everywhere in a city. So it does help that like I can just drive, 5-10 minutes and go into a Sephora.
That's fair. I feel like where I'm at when it comes to like beauty purchases, I just buy everything online these days. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of my secret skills is that I'm really good at shade matching myself online.
That is a good skill. That's a really good skill to
I
have.
really pride myself in being able to do that well, but it's because of that skill. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I really just buy everything online these days. It's I don't know, is it bad? I feel like I should get into stores more.
It is what it is. It's this day and age. I mean, I order a lot of things online too, so don't worry. I told you, the only reason why I go to Sephora most of the time, it's because of my lunch break when I'm in Beverly Hills. It's there, it's shiny, it's so close to Erewhon. I'm like, I can just go in and pick up one little lipstick. That's okay.
Oh God, is this embarrassing? Okay, so the last time I was in a Sephora was to check out the road installation when
Oh,
Haley
yeah.
Bieber went into Sephora. That's how long it's been.
Wow. Okay, I was in Sephora maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I think that was the last time I was there. Again, it's because it's right by my office, so it's just really easy for me.
Fair. I mean, in my defense, I do like, I am frequently on the website. I like checking out like what's new. I like reading the reviews of things, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get my ass to the store one of these days and actually just like look around.
No, Jules, actually, you were in a Sephora more recently than that because we went there together at the Century City Mall before a networking event at Beauty Connect. Remember?
You are so right.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember because we were both wearing bright red.
Yes, we were both wearing red blazers and we filmed like a little Instagram TikTok reel about like our Sephora yes and no purchases.
You
That's
have a good
November.
memory. Okay, so November.
Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. But we'll get you back in a Sephora again. You gotta revisit one more time.
And on the topic of Sephora, they're definitely like they're doing a good job of keeping up with like getting new products, getting new brands. We recently learned that they are launching a brand new fragrance by Rosie Jane, which is this like gorgeous Australian brand, really just heavily focused on like skin and musk scents. But their latest fragrance is called Matilda, and it's described as a tart passion fruit that moves into kind of like this airy meringue and tropical fruit and then just settles into that like classic golden musk and with a little bit of like a sandalwood finish. I love it. It's really just that perfect layering fragrance. It's going to be great for spring, great for summer, but right now it's going to come in in 3 different sizes. So it's an eau de parfum, $86, and that's for a 50 milliliter. It also has a travel spray at $29 for 10 milliliters and a perfume oil at $48 for 7 milliliters.
We had so much fun when we went to this launch party the week before it got dropped in Sephora. And it was at this adorable like cottage house in Venice. And we got to sample the perfume. And we also got to pair the scent Matilda with various perfume oils from by Rosie. And I actually really loved combining the different scents. It became like a whole different profile.
I know, it was kind of like a masterclass in layering because what we learned is like you could take this passion fruit scent and you could either double down on the sweetness and go more gourmand, or you can make it a little more androgynous by adding something with a little bit of smoke, a little bit of like a whiskey fragrance, or just, add more floral to it with a rose. So I really just kind of loved actually watching and smelling how it transforms because I feel like people talk about perfume layering, but like learning it in that capacity was really cool.
And experiencing it is way different than just like talking about it, right? Because it's like, it feels very theoretical. You're like, with this top note and then this under note and this middle. I'm like, no. I need to know what this is like in real life. Because when you smell it, it's such a visceral experience.
Oh, totally. Like when you go into like a perfume store, whether it's Sephora, wherever, like do you naturally go and spray 2 different perfumes on a
No,
tester or on,
no.
right? Like when would you
Mm-mm.
ever do that? Like you just smell one and see how you like it. And then maybe you layer it later on when you're back at home. But I liked how you could do it like then and there.
Another new brand at Sephora is UNOVE, and this is Korea's #1 premium soft repair hair care brand, and it's making its US debut in Sephora now. So this brand is known for delivering super, super, super soft and mirror-like shiny hair and also visible repair within the hair follicle. And they've had a cult following for a long time now because of this glass hair look that they're able to achieve. UNOVE is also the first ever Korean hair care brand to enter a Sephora. So this is a big deal and definitely a defining moment for the category. UNOVE is currently available on Sephora.com and they will be in store at Sephora starting on the 13th of February. So let's talk about the products that they are launching with in Sephora, in store, and online. First off, they have the Deep Damage Repair Hair Mask, which retails for $26. They have the Damage Repair and Shine and Leave-In Conditioner for $28. A Silk Hair Oil at $25. They also have the Essentials Kit, which is every product I just mentioned in a mini size, a Sephora exclusive for $28. There's also the Detangling Heat Protectant Spray for $28. Deep Damage Repair Shampoo at $22, Deep Damage Repair Conditioner at $22, and the Frizz Calming Sleek Leave-In Conditioner at $26. These are really good prices for hair care products.
That is so accurate. And I feel like people are really going to love UNOVE because when it comes to Korean retailers like Olive Young, I'm pretty sure UNOVE is their top performing hair care brand. So I feel like people are obviously really going to like it.
Yeah, I can't wait to try this product. We're getting stuff sent to us pretty soon, and I want to see what all the hype is about.
I think we'll like it. And this is my suspicion as to why. So I feel like I know hair is hair, but I tend to lean towards Korean hair products because I am Korean, right? We have that kind of hair that they're probably testing on a lot. So I feel like it's going to perform really well with our hair.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for today's news roundup. Stay tuned next Monday for our weekly roundup of the top beauty, business, and pop culture stories.
And stay tuned for Thursday, where we're going to be releasing a brand new Chit Chat episode where we do a deep dive on a brand new topic.
See you next week.
Bye.